It is really hot this afternoon. Man. If you watched my last video, it was where I took a bunch of books that I was getting rid of, traded them in at Second and Charles, and got some new books with it. Well, that video was literally less than a week ago, and I already have a whole another huge stack of books to trade in again. I guess I'll just kind of show you which books that I have in stack. First up are a bunch of these mass market paperbacks. This one I started to read today, kind of skimming through it. It didn't really capture my attention. And then I looked up the reviews on Goodreads, and most people gave it like a 3. So that one I decided to go ahead and DNF. Then I have House of Spirits. I found a much nicer trade paperback edition of this, so I'm going to get rid of this one. This volume of Sherlock Holmes. Then I have A Tale of Two Cities. This is one that I've tried to read a couple of times and I just cannot get into it. Then I have this one, A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. Must have picked this one up for free, but this one is heavily marked up, which is, I don't know, maybe I'll consider keeping this one. Like in the cover here, there's lots of notes. Then I have Tuck Everlasting, The Girl Who Played with Fire. I actually have, I already have a trade paperback edition of this, and I'd rather have the trade paperbacks than. Then I have this one, The Perfect Mother. This was one I actually found for free in like and this is also a book of the month book. I found it in like one of those donation places. Anyways, sounded really good because it's about mothers, and then there's a baby that has been kidnapped or is gone missing, an infant, so obviously he's been kidnapped, hasn't just toddled off, and it kind of goes into the rest of the mom groups and their parenting and everything. It sounded like it was going to be perfect for me, but it ended up just kind of being boring. So The Girls at 17 Swan Street, this was an unexpected book. I thought it was about like ballerinas or something, and I think I just assumed that because of the image. It looks kind of like they might be wearing like leotards or something, and I think the main character used to be a dancer, but when we meet her, she's actually in treatment. She's in a treatment facility for anorexia nervosa, and it was good. It was like a 3-star. It didn't super wow me. The only thing I really liked about it is that she's actually an adult who is married, versus a lot of the other stories I have read have all been from like high schoolers' perspectives, but she was an adult. And so I think that's really important, that this is a disease that affects everybody, men, women, teens, as well as adults. In that respect, it was really good. I didn't know it was supposed to be about that. Then we have this one, House of Furies. This, oh, that's right. I'm also going to pull book 2 from my shelves. This was a really quick read, but I can't say I enjoyed it that much. It felt really kind of dry. There was just something about it that just was not sticking with me, and it just wasn't very impactful, so I wasn't like remembering the story as I was going along, so I just didn't think that it was really that great. This is my exact same feelings about other Madeleine Rue's books. I started reading another series by her, the Asylum series, and that one felt a little bit more intense and everything than this one. It's unfortunate. Her books are gorgeous and I want to love them, but they're just not hitting it for me. This is another one I really don't know how I ended up with 2 copies, but I have this edition and I have the paperback edition. But I think just because this cover is gorgeous, I'm going to keep this one and put this one in the unhaul pile. Here was the other one, Court of Shadows. Then I have this one, The Most Beautiful, My Life with Prince. I started reading this, but I'm not a big biography reader to begin with. I must have found this like incredibly, or I wanted to try out reading biographies, and I'm a lover of Prince, But I think when it comes down to it, especially with celebrity books, while I might like their work, I don't necessarily care that much about their personal lives. There's like some really cool pictures. From what little I started to read this, I think it sounds like a really nice biography if you were to read one, but I think I'm going to go ahead and listen to it on audiobook instead of trying to read the book. Then I'm also getting rid of this one, If I Was Your Girl. This is a book about a girl who I think starts up a relationship with this guy, or they become friends, and then she has to find a way to tell him that she used to be a boy. Harmony, this one, Tithe by Holly Black. Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. This is more of like a ghost story, and I kind of was able to kind of skim through most of it and get the story, but I'm not really into ghost stories. I think I ended up picking this up for my kids, but my youngest, Aaron, is kind of into spooky stories. But I swear to goodness, if I pick out a book for him and say, hey, I think that you'll like this, he just won't even want to give it a chance. It has to be his choice. I have this one, The Flamethrowers, and this one was kind of disappointing. I started annotating it and everything, like, I had like the color scheme to match, and it started out really strong with really, really beautiful writing, but then it just got so boring. And then it's kind of about a topic like racing and cars, and this car like race cars and that kind of sport that I'm just really not into, and it seems to be pretty heavy on that. And then as it goes through, I think it gets to be very political, and I'm just not interested in political books like that either. So one, Watch Me, a memoir by Angelica Houston. And again, like Angelica Houston, again, this is another celebrity biography, but I thought that she would be a good place to start with biographies, just because she's a really cool actress. I mean, look at these pictures. Just what a glamorous woman. I don't know, like, she just seems like if you're going to read any celebrity biography, hers will be really interesting. But alas, the writing style I just could not get into. So yeah, it's going to go in the unhaul pile. And the last three books, Dark Witch, I might hold on to this one a little bit longer. Then I also have Replica. This is, I have enlisted the help of an audiobook. I do feel like once I read it, I probably won't read it again though, so that's why I was going to go ahead and just trade it in. And so far it's really good, and it's been a really long time since I've read like a dystopian or like a science fiction, so I'm actually really, really enjoying the audiobook so far. And what a cool cover. And if you take this off, it's like see-through. And then finally, Cruel Beauty. Yeah, I also have this checked out on audiobook as well, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, upon further review of The Dark Witch, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it. It actually looks like it's gonna be like it takes place in Ireland, and I think that that's where I was like, ooh, I wanna read that. But it looks like it's gonna be more of like a romantic cowboy. Okay, the guy of her dreams is supposed to be this like cowboy pirate. Like, what even is that? And it doesn't look like the main character is a witch, but there's a dark force. Anyways, I have lost interest in this concept, so that's going in the bin. As well as Silka's Journey, The Tattooist of Auschwitz, the author who wrote Tattooist of Auschwitz. That book was amazing. It was one of my favorite books, but I did just check out the audiobook, so I'll be listening to this on audiobook, and this one could get off my shelves. Actually, I'm going to show you my shelves really quick, because I have some plans to revamp my shelves where everything is going. So this is where I keep like dark academia books, and they're kind of overflowing down here a bit, and then this is also mixed with mystery. This one is supposed to go with dark academia books, but there is no room down there, so I'd like to spread these out a little bit more. This is classics. This is Dickens and Tolstoy shelf. And this is like, I have all my Jane Austen and Anne of Green Gables and Bronte. And then here starts, what is it called? Retellings. So here's classic retellings. So we have like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters, Finn. This one is a retelling of, I think it's supposed to be Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, Huckleberry Finn. And then we come down directly below and we have more retellings to this point. And then these are just other hardbacks. Kind of mixed. And we have Children's Lit. This one I kind of want to fix up. This is a box set of Winnie the Pooh that I've had since I was a little girl. I got this and this one as well. I got these from my grandma's house. I don't necessarily want them on this shelf. And on the bottom shelf as well, I don't know if I want to keep these like history books. I thought they'd be great for my kids. Yeah, no. More history books and stuff too. So I think I want to go ahead and try to prioritize reading some of those. Here we have some space in my shelves. There's another space there. Some more space down here. And these shelves here are really messed up. These two shelves have a thing. This is all my poetry, which I'm kind of outgrowing. These are like graphic novels and other, I don't know, illustrated editions, random stuff. But I think I would like to take my short story. I have a ton of short stories here, but they're kind of everywhere. I'd like to have a shelf just for my short story collections. And then I might combine, like I might have it go all the way across and be poetry and then short stories. And then maybe even put my epic poems down here as well, which down there we have more like Odyssey and stuff. Are all my fantasy and science fiction, young adult, and sets like that. So I am definitely outgrowing that as well. I'd like to spread that out somehow. I do like this shelf. Oh, and I even have, and then I have it split too. So there's more fantasy over there and fantasy over there. So it doesn't quite make sense. I'm gonna go ahead and drop off the books at 2nd and Charles. So I got the AC blasting. It is hot today. And then I'm gonna drive down to Sam's Club. I'm almost out of bread and lunch meat and stuff like that for the kids' sandwiches for the week. Hopefully by then they'll be done. Last week when I took them, I don't know, just it took forever, much longer than it ever usually takes me. So I didn't realize that the other bookstore I like to go to called Booklegger is actually close to Sam's Club, which I needed to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and go there next to take all the books that 2nd and Charles wouldn't take. They might not take some of the things that are already in there too, but then I'll just have another stack. All right, good afternoon. I thought I was gonna get this video out before my son walked through the door, but that did not work out. He is home. We are waiting on an appointment for him to go get his hair cut. Back to the books. So it was pretty successful. They didn't take all the books that I had expected them to. Some of them I kind of knew they weren't gonna take anyways. They're just a little too beat up. Oh, and here comes the other one. Hello. There's pizza in there. The older they get, the more immature they get, I swear. I don't know how many books I ended up getting rid of, but I brought home 4 more books. But I'm very pleased with the purchases. Yeah, I'll be in there in a minute. The first one I probably spent the most on, but to me it was definitely worth the money because I had got number 2. I had got the second in the series a while back, and I didn't know it was the second in the series. I didn't know it was a series, and I don't know what happened. Either way, I ended up with One Girl in All the World. It's another Buffy retelling by Kendra Blake. But I did find In Every Generation, which is the first in the series, and I guess there is actually a 3rd book to this. So I'm really excited. I'm definitely gonna have to sit down and do some Buffy fan fiction reading because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have now 4 books all within the Buffy canon to read. So that was a really good one. That was
YouTube videos getting interrupted a lot.
Yeah, go figure.
Whenever we come home.
Yep. Where was I? So that was very, very pleased with. I'm very happy with that. The second one I got, it was kind of an accident. I wasn't gonna get it at first, but then, very long story. The balance was like $1.50. I didn't have $1.50 on me, so I was gonna pay with my card, but they needed a minimum of $3 for a card payment. Long story short, I ended up getting this book. It is the second in the Trials of Apollo series, but I wanted to get it anyways. I was going to wait to find a little bit cheaper because it was at $9, but I know where I usually shop, I would be bound and determined to find one a lot cheaper if I just waited, but it ended up working out great, and this is kind of a gift for my son. We have the first in the series, and I remember listening to the first in the series a while back, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. I thought that Apollo is a hilarious character in a really great, fun way. Unlike I thought the writing was a lot better in this Apollo series too, rather than his other middle grade series. The Percy Jackson is, now the cat's going at it. The next one I'm very, very excited to have found. This one again was $8, which I don't usually spend that kind of, I usually wait to find things like $5 and under. I know it's a weird rule depending on the book, but anyways, I found Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This one has been on my TBR for the longest freaking time. I'm so excited to have finally found a copy of this one. There's that. I picked it up, put it down, picked it up, put it down, but I ended up with it after all because I have two others that are like it, and it's called Android Karenina, and this is a retelling of Anna Karenina, but she's an android, and then there's other characters in here who are also androids. I read like the first page of it while I was in the store, and apparently I'm collecting these like offshoot retellings. Like I have the Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters, and now Android Karenina. So I think these are really fun, interesting way to take those old stories and rewrite them. I've not read them yet. I hope that they are good. So that concludes today's unhaul. The rest of the books I will be dropping off at Little Free Libraries. I may or may not do a Little Free Library vlog one day. There's a whole bunch in my area. Thanks for watching. Bye.